to be sharing with you today about why your book cover matters. And you want it to be a book cover that is scroll stopping worthy on Amazon. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to do that. Well, first of all, you need to remember how important your cover is. It's not just this afterthought, just it's not something you slap on the front of your book after all that hard work that you've done writing it. And now here's the thing, too. You could start thinking, and you should start thinking about your cover as soon as you start thinking about your book. Now, if it changes, it's no big deal, right? But having a visual of that cover allows you to as well think about it, feel it, like visualize it in your hot little hands, that book being done, and that helps you finish writing it as well, right? And having that great book cover, like I said, that stops the scroll on Amazon, creates curiosity, gets people to click, and then you'll get more sales, which is what you want with your book anyways, right? Because you can't just, like I said, slap it on, and you can't just put a cover on that you like. It has to actually convey something. Now, as well, I get a lot of people who go off and ask 50 zillion different friends, and that's fine. In some instances, that helps, but in some ways, it's a little too many opinions. You need to love your cover just like you love the inside of your book, so that when you go to promote it, you feel fantastic about it, right? Okay, so let's talk first off about some of the things that you might consider when writing your book. Number one, homemade versus professional. I wish I had my first book cover to show you, because it was hideous. It was peach and green because I thought those were great colors for a book that's topic was health, because those are healthy colors. It was awful. It was really awful. It was peach and it had green and it had like this frame around the green part. It was hideous. Now, I did get permission from one of my clients to share his before and after. He was trying to put his own book cover together. And I said, if you really want to be taken seriously, because he's a corporate leadership coach, right? So corporations are not looking for a homegrown something or other, right? So this was his first cover. Okay. And 7 essential traits of leaders. And he goes by seed and lead. So there's this little seed in it. And I said to him, and I wish I had his comment back. Oh, goodness. I forgot to print it out. But, anyways, I said to him, well, Phil, it's okay, but corporations are not going to hire you off this book. And he took the coaching like a champ. And this is what his new cover ended up being. He got a graphics designer. It doesn't have to be terribly expensive. You can find somebody on Fiverr or Upwork or 99 Designs, or get a fancy smancy graphics designer. It's up to you. But doesn't this look so much more professional? Because graphics designers are trained in font and colors and placement and sizing and stuff like that. Looks so much better, right? So do you want to be taken more seriously, or do you want to look like you're homegrown? You got to decide. And I would prefer professional, right? Number 2, your colors. Now, if you look at the Amazon feed, it's white in the background. So it may not be best if you have a white cover that doesn't have any splashes of pop on it, because as you're scrolling through the Amazon feed, it's not going to stand out. You want something that, as people are looking, is going to really call to them. And colors have all sorts of different meanings. We'll go through some of them here, but you can definitely look those up. Palettes and combinations and things like that. That's way out of my league, because I'm not a graphics designer. And I should just note right here, I am not a graphics designer. I already said it. But this has been my experience working with people with their books, right? And if you're any bit of like inclined to be creative or artistic, sometimes I just can look at stuff and go, there's something a little off, something's not balanced right. But because I'm not a graphics designer, I don't exactly know what that is or what it's called, or sometimes not able to pinpoint it, right? So when you think of colors, think of what they mean to people. Now, it's interesting because red is the funky color. Yeah, I think people love it or hate it. Maybe that's like other colors as well. But red can mean all sorts of different things, like danger, stop, right? But it also can mean passion and daring and romance. So if it's romance, it feels more soft. If it's danger, it feels more like, shocking. It could mean energetic. So just make sure if you're using red, you combine it with the right things, right? Black can be sophistication, power, mystery, evil. It means so many different things. So just one color may not be enough to convey what you want. You might need to use multiples. Like gray is stability and security. Purple is royalty and luxury, wisdom and dignity and spirituality and passion. Purple is my favorite color. Pink can also mean romance, compassion, faithfulness, beauty, love. White, freshness, hope, goodness, light, purity. Remember what I said about white, though. You want other pieces to pop out. Yellow are things like joy and cheerfulness, friendliness, intellect, energy, caution, cowardice. So you see how different they are, joy and cowardness. So again, photos, pictures, symbols, and other things that go with it are going to create that whole effect. Blue is a very popular color, especially in the Facebook feed. Peace, stability, calmness, sincerity, affection. Green is life and growth. See why I picked that for my health book? Healing, money, safety, relaxation. It can mean so many different things, right? So make sure that you are thinking of and picking colors that match what you want, because here's a really important thing. Your cover needs to convey an emotion, a feeling, a transformation. It needs to share with people what they're going to experience inside the book. Like it's a first peek, it's the first impression. And the saying goes, don't judge a cover by its book, but people do. So that's why this is so important, that you get that emotion out. I have a client who tends to like darker types of photos, but her message is really one of uplifting, of abundance, safety, security, all of those things. And so sometimes the images that she picked didn't feel like it went along with the message that was inside the book, right? So you need to make sure that that is happening. All right. So first we talked about homemade versus professional. Number 2 was about the colors. 3, to put your picture on or not. That's the magic question, right? People are always saying, oh, I don't know if I want to be on it. I need to do my makeup, grow my hair, lose some pounds, whatever it is. And here's the thing, it's very much personal preference. I've heard some people say, it doesn't matter if you're on the book or not, because if you're not famous, people aren't going to recognize you. And some people really are able to convey the emotions and the transformation and the feelings that they want the reader to experience inside the book by having their face on the front. And I would really say that unless your book is, I'm going to say fiction genre or something like that, where you're hiding or some sort of romance picture, you really want to have a picture where you are looking straight into the camera. I do have one that's a law of attraction one where I'm looking off to the side, but it conveys a feeling, right? When you can see people's eyes, you can look right into it. It feels like they're looking into your soul, right? And you can see if they are a genuine person or if they're hiding something, and it depends on that pose as well. So again, back to overall emotions, feelings, transformations that you want. That's the big picture that you want on this cover. So you decide whether your picture does it or if you'd rather not have your picture on the front cover. I've done it both ways. I've had clients done it both ways, and it is really about personal preference. Okay, number 4, your fonts. Your fonts really matter. Now, my daughter is a graphics designer, so she says to me, Mom, you can only have one font that has feet. So that's the serif, right? So one font with feet, or that's fancy like script, and one font that is sans serif, like plain, right? Because too many make it confusing, and then it's not balanced right. Again, I don't know exactly what that's called in graphics design language, but it creates a little too much chaos. So fonts actually have their own meanings as well. Like if you look at regular fonts, regular Arial, Helvetica, I would say are fairly neutral fonts. But I printed some out here for you to see. Like if you look at this, Broadway looks like Broadway show, right? Typewriter looks like typewriter. Handwriting, like my handwriting's not that neat, but you get the idea. Chalk writing maybe feels a little more childish, right? Fun and girly here with the curly cues and stuff. Maybe a bold that's rounded. Maybe something that looks very fancy, schmancy, looks like it's from the olden days. Then there's like this Joker Man one that's really fun. And then there's one that's a little more luxurious. And you see that there's like cursive by hand. See, this one's like the monster. You see the Halloween stuff, right? In the monster. Playful, the one that's a record, which I think is actually really super cool. Race car, like these actually have like pictures inside them, right? Graffiti. So when you think about these particular fonts, things come to mind. In record, you think of a record. In race car, you think of race car. Monster, you think of monster, right? So when you're picking the fonts for your book, make sure it conveys, again, what you want to share inside the book. I mean, monster may be really cute and fun, and Jokerman might be, but if you're writing something and your topic is a little more serious, you might not want Jokerman on the front cover as your font. You get what I'm saying? So pick your fonts, but combine your fonts, because combining fonts can really create something. Sometimes books just have cool fonts on the front with maybe a small symbol or something, and it's a solid or ombre or gradient background, right? And if you look at this, let's go back to this and this, right? When you look at these two books, like this has one font, it's just bold. This has one font, but look at how it's different sizes. You see different things and different things pop out, right? And I wish I had another book, but anyways, then the back of it is in an Arial type of font. So when you're looking at that, make sure that you're picking things that are conveying the message that you want and giving the reader an impression, because again, it's going to be their first impression of your book. That is going to get them to stop the scroll on Amazon or pull it off the bookshelf and start to look at it. And that is going to then lead you to more sales, right? So overall, right, we talked about one, homemade versus professional. Number 2, the colors. Number 3, putting your picture on or not. And number 4, your fonts. And throughout this thing that I'm talking about with the cover, please, please, please take away this as the main thing. Your cover has to have an emotion, has to have a feeling that goes with it, right? There's a certain feeling that goes with this book. And my other book, let's see here. There's a certain feeling with this book, right? And then this one happens to be just sitting right here. So here's one that has a famous person's cover on it. Makes sense, she's on the cover, right? So think about what it is that you want people to really take away and that first impression that you're giving with the book cover. And by all means, please, 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 please make it look professional, right? It's like when we talked about that, it was like, well, you could do this or you could do that. But really, in the end, if you want to be taken seriously, it needs to look professional. Now, I've had clients do it themselves, and they've turned out in varying degrees of professionalism. And in the end, it's always your choice what ends up on the cover of your book. But make sure it has the emotion, make sure it has the feeling, let it convey what you want out of it, right? Okay, cool. So now I want to share a little something that is coming up in less than a week on May the 12th. So if you're watching the, which if you're watching the replay and it's after May 12th, then this probably have already done, but might do it again. So always reach out and ask if I'm doing it again. But I am doing something called For Our Author. Oh, by the way, if you want to recap, if you want the show notes, if you didn't take notes on this fast enough, just type in recap into the comments, RECAP, and you'll get a messenger message with instructions on how you can get the show notes, and I'll get those to you. Okay, so back to For Our Author. We are going to be doing that on May the 12th. And what we're doing in this is, because of all the crazy that's been going around in the world and the people that I've talked to, many have asked me to help them, but not in my larger program, but creating something that can be a first step for them to write and finish their entire book. Okay, so what we're going to do in For Our Author is fast track getting that book out of your head, being able to learn all the structures, learn all the shortcuts, figure out what to put in it, figure out what not to put in, talk about your title and your subtitle, and get all of those things that you need so that you can complete your entire book and be done in the next week following, or at least by the time our stay at home is lifted. So if you'd like more information on that, it's at vickygould.com/for-our-author. Oh, here we go. Hold on. I did type it out. So that is where it's at. I'll type it down below as well if you want to check it out. It's just $500 to get in. It's 4 hours long. It's actually 4.5 because we're going to have some breaks as well. And you are going to walk away with exactly everything you need to write your entire book, make it the most meaningful book ever, create impact with that book, and write it in a way that's going to turn readers into clients. And this is the number one mistake when people come to me after they've already written their book, is it is not structured right. The storytelling doesn't create the connection they want, and it's not a book that actually helps them grow their business. It's just a book to say that they have a book, and that is not what you want. I am sure of it, because I know if you're like my clients, you want to reach as many people out there in the world. You want to impact as many people that you can, and you want to continue to grow your business, get more clients, have that become lucrative, and then use that book to leverage for other opportunities. So within For Our Author, like I said, we are going to have everything that you need in order to get your entire book done. And the bonus part is that if you are within the first 5 people to sign up, and 3 people have already signed up, you will also get private time with me 1 week following our time together, so we can make sure you're still on track. If you're done with your book, we can talk about that as well. Whatever you need, and to help with accountability so that you can actually get this book done, right? So that's what's going on May the 12th. Reach out if you want more information, and let me know if you want a transcript, show notes of this. Just type recap in the comments, whether you're watching it live or replay. Go ahead and do that. And I hope you have a fantastic day, and see you soon. Bye.